Brood Mother.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Summit for China. We're finally underway with our qualifiers for the last region to get started, gods, but big one here. China will have 2 teams qualified and coming to the LAN finals.
Yep.
Going to be tough. Only 8 teams, but probably one of the most even across the pack regions out of them all.
Yeah, you take any region and pick like the top 6 to 8 teams. China is just stacked with talent and a very deep list of teams. So we're seeing IG Newbee go head-to-head here in our opening match. And
so looking at the matchup, who do you favor here? Last time these teams faced, it was a 2-0 result. Do you expect it to be similarly one-sided this time around?
I think it was one-sided result, but at quite close games. I think Game 2 especially, IG looked really solid. So I think IG is a team who can adapt quite well and at least make this to be a bit closer than we saw in those odds there. I think it is maybe more of a 50-50 matchup.
Okay, with that said, guys, we're going to hop in the draft here. Newbee was penalized with 0 reserve time, so they're basically insta-picking, and we are moving quickly as a result. So, with that said, Queen of Pain, first overall pick, catch up on the draft. Newbee going to the Spirit Breaker, as well as Shadow Fiend. The reply is the first stage Broodmother from Invictus Gaming. So, Newbee given a little bit of time to figure out how they want to deal with the old mama in Phase 2. Bristleback and Batrider both removed by IG. Batrider generally not a hero most teams are running, but popular in China, more popular in China from what I've seen, guys. The only other big team that really comes to mind, of course, is Alliance. Newbee in Phase 2. They ban Wyvern and Lion, and then coming into this phase, it will be third pick Dazzle for Newbee, the Ply Rubik for IG, the Ember out for Newbee, giving them a bit of clear and control against those Spiderlings later on, and now IG trying to contemplate how do they slow down the Ember Shadow Fiends.
My first thoughts when I saw Newbee first to pick the Spirit Breaker was like, oh, they're blocking it from Luo because it has been one of his most played heroes. But then IG picked the Brutes. I'm like, wait, well,
oh god,
it's like,
what have we done?
It's like it's not really a block pick when you've got Luo's best hero picked up with his second best hero. So for IG, they would not have been bothered at all by the Spirit Breaker, and I think Newbee at the same time likely expecting the Brood to come out. Spirit Breaker, good hero for at least catching and chasing down the Brood with charge whenever you catch a vision of him, and that's also kind of what led into the Batrider ban. The thing with dealing with Brood is less about having the AoE to clear down Spiderlings and more about being able to catch him, pick him off. Batrider traditionally one of the better Brood counters along with heroes like Storm Spirit as far as finding him in the trees when you've got a gem or detection. You just need that ability to locate him, which is just without having that the tree scouting ability, which you now have from an Ember Spirit, it's really hard to bring down a Broodmother.
Of course, Storm back in the day used to be one of the classics, but not many teams want to pick the Storm. Unknown from South America, really the only team that comes to mind is a team that will value the Storm pick. Now, AA will be the grab for IG, so they get a very iconic support duo that we've seen a lot of, for over a year now. The Rubik Ancient Apparition, making up for the Rubik's low damage output with very high damage output from the AA, but are a frail pair, and up against the cow could be squishy food.
And Newbee worried about a big early game push strat, recognizing that IG is somewhat lacking in control and stuns. They've got DK last, thinking that IG may have put Pain safe lane, something they can definitely look to do. And you're against an Ember, so you want to have that extra bit of control. Right now it's just the telekinesis. If you can have a DK with a blink stun initiation, plenty of follow-up damage to burst down Ember Spirit. So I really like the ban from Newbee, and I think it would have been a great hero to round out IG's draft with.
Dragon Knight does not really see much play outside of China right now, though. I think a few of the SEA teams will pick it on occasion, but
yeah, no,
it seems to totally ignored and just not respected at all in the Westerns.
It was like during Nanyang, the China qualifiers, where it was once 50% of the games felt like they had a Dragon Knight, and then you go over to Europe, America, it's once in a
What the hell is that garbage? We don't want anything to do with him.
They play. It's not like I don't want to say they play slower pace, but they play more for the late game. They'll have maybe some aggressive early game plays, but they're always looking to secure up the late game. DK not a hero that does that, and it feels like the Chinese teams, they get at that early game advantage, they always want to
They want to
take
push
and
it.
siege towers, yes. Get their opponent stuck in their base, hold up. Then the high ground push often takes some time. They want to get their Aegis and all that. They want to get map control. It's very methodical, but it's very much like if they get the early advantage, they really want to have complete control.
And shockingly, this would never happen in Europe. Darkseer slipping through until the 5th and final pick. Darkseer Ember against this feels downright dirty, and especially when running a Broodmother. An Ion Shell is just icing on the cake. You've also got a Spirit Breaker with Ion Shell. Gods, I'm liking Newbee here, even though they gave away the Brood. I don't care what IG picks. I'm favoring Newbee after this draft.
Okay.
I just this Darkseer Spirit Breaker dual lane is so scary, and then Ember with Ion Shell is just devastating if executed well.
And normally you see the Wraith King picked up when you have that good secondary carry that can benefit from the lifesteal. It was the Wraith King Shadow Fiend that EG and Secret would pull out a bit during MLG. So I don't feel like the Wraith King was a really like, oh, that pick is going to do a lot this game kind of thing. It's just like, well, it's carry, has a pretty strong laning stage.
He can just get kited so easily. Ember can just run circles around him, surge away. Spirit Breaker just ignores him, runs past him.
He's going to need a lot of items to deal damage this game.
Of course, this is a Broodmother. He has been known for single-handedly winning games. Luo, definitely one of the more capable broods in the East, so...
Did they ban Jug, did you see, or was that still available?
I don't think Jug banned. I know that's something that Rabbit has been playing quite a bit of. I checked some of his recent games.
I really like the Jug. I think Jug's a much better character for this game. The main thing the Wraith King has is you've got an extra stun, which right now it's only telekinesis, so they probably just decided we need more control lockdown to deal with Ember, even Darkseer in lane. It's just not going to be enough if we only have telekinesis, so that's where Wraith King comes in, but it's not exactly an impressive stun. You can easily BKB dodge it, Manta dodge it. It's something that you can't constantly rely on to come out from a Wraith King. But it's much. I mean, the Darkseer Ember, that's like a 2-hero duo you'd only expect to see picked in the first stage. IG's lanes are really strong. Like, the laning stage should be better, then their mid game can be much weaker. But if they can get a big enough advantage out of their lanes with the Rubik AA, maybe they can make up for their weak mid game.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I don't think they have a bad draft. I've seen too many games where like a support wastes a stun or gets slightly out of position. Spirit Breaker charges with an Ion Shell. 2 heroes then one dies. The next one comes in to try and help. He dies. Suddenly your safe lane's in shambles. Then the Ember's free farming, and it's the disaster scenario. So maybe ID they'll have the crisp execution needed. They should have run the full tri-lane, which is definitely good news against the bow.
Yeah. Almost, I wonder if they're thinking of doing any kind of an aggro trial out of this, like with Rubik AA plus Wraith King, whatever it may be. I mean, Chilling Touch, any Rubik AA plus any carry with some damage output, slight stun, it works. Even Wraith King, who's not traditionally
so level dependent though. Like even Wraith King needs his levels. Not to mention the supports here.
I think less so the supports, which is why you do not often see Rubik AA in those aggro tri lanes. But the Wraith King, absolutely.
You don't think they're level dependent?
Not in like they're not heroes that way. Any hero wants levels and get level 6.
Well, like I would say a Rubik AA are much more level dependent than say an Earthshaker.
Yes, but you make up for like the fact you're not going to get lots of levels because you dominate the lane so hard, because of how well Rubik AA does in aggro tri lanes.
Let's see if they want to do it. They aren't leaving the Brood at the base, so maybe they are going aggro tri, and Chuan does have the boots picked up. They'll lead the charge. Already a Ward going to scout this out, so Newbee will have great intel and likely know exactly what IG are cooking up for them early on.
Yeah, that's good intel for Newbee to be able to dodge any early aggression. And Boots, Rubik, leading the way with the telekinesis can always cause problems.
So, aggro try, they're going to run the safe lane Brood, but Newbee already know it, and looks like the Darkseer will still head top, so may get a Darkseer versus Brood 1v1 matchup. And that would leave a tough situation bottom if that's the way they choose to lane it.
Ember, very weak laning hero. Dazzle, and then Spirit Breaker. It's not really a great tri-lane for Newbee. If they have their pool camp available, they can use it, but right now it's being blocked off, so they'll need to be on point with their sentries to...
You'd much rather have, like, Ember Dazzle versus a Brood, and then Spirit Breaker, Darkseer versus the tri-lane, I feel.
For me, this is the ideal laning setup for IG. Newbee... Yeah, it's not great. It looks like Ember's are going to swing towards top lane to...
I think they just dodge here. It seems like the better lane setup.
Yep. Yeah, I think this is the good play from Newbee. Despite Darkseer doing fine, it's not about how Darkseer does against Brood, it's about how Ember does against the tri-lane.
Exactly.
Ember is the important hero of this game. Darkseer gets levels wherever he goes, even if he gets less farm against tri lane.
And the cow will join him, so it is going to be a 3v2 showdown. With Chisbuk having the luxury of rotating if he so pleases, 430. Against Moo mid, he gets the better creep block off the bat. It's going to make life a little tricky early on. He has gone for the Wraith Band, but you can already see 430 not going to let him walk up and get easy CS.
This is not a build you'd normally see when you've got a tough matchup in the lane, because you want to get the fast bottle. So you can just get the fast bottle, you've got the regen there, so Moo will be put under a lot of pressure by 430.
Oh, God, this is a variant we did not discuss, which is two-lane jungling off the bat, and Chisbug just soloing versus the tri-lane.
Yeah, you're just stacking. Whoever goes bottom is getting sacked. They're unlikely to get any XP even because of the lane equilibrium right now, so this is actually better for the Darkseer as far as his level and farm goes.
If they're going to find him, Chuan early on the prowl, not much he can do to a Darkseer by himself. And doesn't have a ward to block the camp, can maybe leech a bit of experience, be a pest. Seems to be the game plan for the creep steal there. We'll deny him the early level 2.
Yeah. And this is good move from IG. You don't need the Rubik at bottom as well. Spirit Breaker's just going to hug his tower if there's 3 heroes bottom, so you're better off in going to mess with the Darkseer, leech XP, control runes, and just even help out the mid lane.
So, in the end, it looks like they're starving the cow most of all, but hey, if you're going to starve someone on this lineup, I guess him or the Dazzle would be one of the ideal two. So, yeah. Your Ember Spirit actually doing quite well. Feels like Hal's having a good time. Moo in the mid lane, definitely struggling due to that poor creep block early on, as well as just great harassment from 430.
Yeah. He's brought out Tangos now as well, so he's bought a lot of regen.
430. Getting a bit of punishment here. Maybe trying to bait as Chuan was looking for the drive-by.
Yeah, he knows Moo has to wait for the Chef Strike to wear off before he can salve up. It looks like he won't get the salve cancel and he won't find the kill. So.
But with Chuan leaving, Chisbug, little opportunity to give Super a bit of a poke. Has skilled up the charge already, so he baits out the Chilling Touch. We'll back off. He's looking for round 2 here soon, but again, the warding has been great from Newbee. They see the Rubik coming in mid. They know exactly what Chuan's up to.
And their Sentry also de-warded IG's early ward here in the mid lane, so...
They might even be able to get it. Uh-oh. He might have managed to sneak around on Moo. Moo has an idea, he's in the neighborhood, but does he know for sure? They now bring in the Darkseer bottom, so they're getting a 2v2 matchup. Moo is the one suffering more than anybody else, and they want to dive him right. They get the lift off, but instantly the TP comes through from the Dazzle. Oh, Chuan's in danger, gets charged. Great counterplay here. Although he will TP away, he'll almost enough for the kill by himself. Banana of the rotation. Chisbug will hoof it back to the lane. Well, maybe not.
He could have
no hoofing without boots.
Almost could have considered continuing the charge, but Chuan's telekinesis was coming up for a second time soon.
Man, what a start for Hal, though. Granted, some of these are spiderlings, but still, your leader in terms of net worth in the game.
Yeah.
A Brood versus Ember to have a little support and be doing this well early on, he's got to be happy.
Yes. That's the one lane Newbee just said, we're gonna make sure we win this one. Doesn't have the pull camp for himself up top, but...
We'll see how long he continues winning this one for, though.
At some point, Darkseer has to be the one you send up against the Brood, but for now they want to make sure Ember gets the easiest lane for the first 5 minutes of the game.
And he can also wreck the tri-lane. These are going to be under-leveled heroes, although right now it's a dual lane, so... Perhaps that's where we see how just TP bottom around like level 5, 6 or so. This bug gets stunned, Rabbit just gets a walk away. But yeah, that's the other nice thing. You get your quick level 6 on Ember, and he can really mess things up for IG.
Yeah. And yeah, supports like Rubik AA can't really defend themselves against the level 6 Ember, so we'll be very tough for IG once Ember hits level 6, and you've got an Iron Shell Ember just jumping in on you. And with Flame Guard, the magic damage you can't... I mean, you can break it, I guess, you can Chilling Touch, you can throw stuns, but you're basically using your spells to break the Flame Guard and unlikely actually kill off the Ember. You can't burst through Flame Guard plus his actual HP during the stun duration that IG have.
Al trying to fight these spiderlings, but they just heal up and webs and will retreat out. Meanwhile, Chuan making his rotation, definitely wants to shut down Hal.
Oh, level 6 Ember. And with Flame Guard wearing off, this is a great time to make this move.
He has the chains, but the spiderlings are here as well. I don't even know if he needed the help from Chuan, but with it, it'll be an easy grab. First blood to Luo. Chuan tries once mid, doesn't work, TP's out. Times the charm.
Yeah. That was just really great time with his rotations, and so far I think Chuan played really well. Like the TP out mid when he went a bit too aggressive under the tower, that ended up actually being a good trade for IG because you forced a charge towards mid, you forced a dazzle TP, and now he finds himself finally kill top with the timing around the Ember's Flame Guard being on cooldown. So really nice plays from Chuan so far.
Giving a little more space bottom, though. Chisbug will crack level 3 at the same moment. 2 up to level 5 in the jungle. Man, he's been very efficient with his farming. Even rotating bottom, still level 6 in 5 minutes. This is close to your Enigma game level of farming. The charge goes bottom lane, bashes there, and with that, it's down for the count. Whoa, just so scary.
I guess that's how you beat the...
You wait for Quan to get bored and leave, and then you go kill him.
Trouble again, but...
Have the grave available, but he's getting put... They have to use that grave. I hope he's allowed to back away. Quan with burst of smoke wants to get eyes on the Shadow Fiend Darkseer, maybe hoping to find a camp, but too late. Who's already cleaned it up? Newbee. I think they're very quick to react to any movements for IG.
And they've got the charger. He could be in a lot of trouble here. Send you what, Eddie.
And Dust. Rabbit's in position. Squad. I don't think they actually saw that he was missing on.
Maybe he got close to the creep wave because the fact they didn't commit to that makes me think must have seen him. Instead, he actually got Rabbit himself.
Charging it. Does not turn for the stun. He just keeps on backing off, and now the Ember's going to get in position with the Flame Guard as well. Chains were committed for this, grabbing a lot of danger, imitating Ember. Will falling or poke of that little divider. But while that was happening, 430 solo commit, double match of Boom deployed, and Shadow Fiend, just no match for that.
Overall, probably a better trade for IG. If they get them much more Shadow Fiend. The rating, yes, if you're playing started off in the lane, but with the supports and ended up top. A hero who's farm dependent, like a Shadow Fiend. So I like IG and their kind of outcome for that one a bit better, but even if the trade slightly favored IG, they're still heading into a very dangerous mid game against Newbee with Ember now level 6.
Ember's level 6, Dust still up on Chisbug. And you mentioned it, Gods. The key to shutting down Brew nowadays is much more about ganking him, not about stopping his lane presence. And they've got an Ember and a Spirit Breaker, 2 of the better heroes to shut him down in the mid game. They are charging on the super bottom lane. Where's the backup? He's gonna need it quickly, dropping a bash to the kill. Chisbug just styling now, and although too late will tank a stun, Chuan's gonna need a lot more follow-up than that. Dropping him back. The tower needs to cooperate here. Fade Bolt coming through, but the heal, the Brave available, and too late might just go to surge away. Body block, Rabbit. No, you're not going anywhere, buddy. Stay with me. I want to show you a little love. No, he cancels the auto tech. Chuan will get the last one required to bring him down. Dangerously close to not getting the kill there.
Yeah, I don't think he was trying to, like, quote-unquote, leave that for Chuan by any means.
Al decides he wants to quickly lose all his regen trying to farm spider lanes, but he's going back home, and it does feel like this is around that time where you'd like to see the Darkseer head over to top.
Yeah, doesn't want to have to stay to get the brute spot. So, I mean, you could right-click him down right to try and nuke him down through the flame guard. I think we see him go for my...
Basically, game plan. So, on the side of Ice, got their Ice Blast. Brood just picked up a Midas on the side of Newbee. Ember, very highly leveled now. Your Darkseer mech close to completion. What are the respective strategies for each team heading into the mid game?
For IG, they didn't dominate the early game as well as they would have liked to, based on their heroes and draft. And for Newbee, they're going to come online soon. I imagine their plan is to go for the fast mech on what they're going to get from the Darkseer. Means the SF can just go for like a Treads, Aquila, tank up as much as possible, and then they're going to try and be super aggressive and just constantly fight. IG just do not have the heroes to fight them. Although they do have the heroes to off an SF.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
He even drops the Requiem for that, but no chance as Amber engages on mid, does get the Sleight of Fist, chains come on 430, the punish, almost there, Scream, Blink not ready for 7 seconds, Iron Shell enough to secure the kill, though he may pay for this. Way out how he's gone in deep, is he in too far, chains in 1 second, that would guarantee at least one pocket, 2, now they're Chisbug, no, back, where do you think you're going? Hamburger.
Why do you take
That
that?
just is hungry.
This is a ganking Brood. Brood he eaten from top for this.
He brought the he actually brought the spelling army, if you see.
Whoa.
I think he just ran the whole army down the network of webs.
He's made the web from top to... I don't even know if he TP. Probably didn't TP.
No, I don't think he did.
Scurried his way through. This web work is insane.
You know, we thought it was pretty next level just to see the likes of XZ and Zai taking over the jungle at the International, but I think it went one step farther. He's building all interconnected intercontinental highways on the Dota map.
that's the beauty of the new, like, well, they're no longer new, the web pages where you can just back up. You can do 4 in a row when you've got the full charges built up, and this makes moving around the map so much easier this year. Fix some of his problems that he used to have in the mid game.
And it also says if you actually want to fight, just save up 4 webs.
Yep.
All right, you cover 4 screens of territory base.
That was a big commitment. IG come out on top with a 3-for-2 trade there, but that was all 4 webs. They bring in the Brood, the campaign, Queen campaign ultimately go.
The charge coming, sentries are here. 430 trying to retrieve the trees. Charge quite a ways off. Didn't commit earlier. I guess figure 430 still gonna get away. Continues, but he's got an idea where he is at 430. Oh, how deeper for this, but that would be a bit too deep.
That was ballsy from Hal. Like, apparently no is aggressive, but he used a triple fire remnant there without vision.
Yeah, I
didn't
think
even know how low 430 was.
Yeah, I think just assuming there wasn't too much in the way of stick charges, but
yeah. Well, it's more like a TP, like from a Rubik lift and an A ice blast across the map, and Hal dies because he's under the tower without an escape. So that was very dangerous from him. Maybe just getting the info from his team, like, okay, no one can TP, you're actually safe here. And if 430 had been on int treads instead of string treads, it would have been a kill. So it actually was quite close.
I got the stick off, able to survive. Is NewBee are going to settle down to their mid game. The mech complete on 2 lay. Ember Spirit, how Farm has slowed down a lot, gods. He spent a lot of time ganking, only 62 CS. Way behind his own Shadow Fiend. Is Moo. See, what's the build going to be? Up to 1400 gold, yet to show anything as far as his first big item.
Yeah, with 1400 straight Yules. Yeah, it looks like he's going to go for Yules. Picks up a Void Stone as well as the rest of his Aquila. And the Yules will be a nice way to catch out the Brood as well, so you get some extra pick-off potential coming out from your lineup. Not that you need it necessarily. You've got Ember and Spirit Breaker already, but I like the Yules pickup. And also, it's you expect 430 to go for the Orchid this game. Against Ember, you almost always see the Orchid Queen of Pain, and that's where Yules also will help you out.
Yeah, unless the vaunted Blade Mail Queen of Pain is in the cards, but at this point, though they don't see it, he's got a second row with Magi, so...
That's odd Observerwood spot for the Radiant team to use.
For the Radiant, huh.
Yeah, I saw the Woodgate plan. I don't know if he meant to sentry it.
Well, there used to be a Darkseer top. Caught the corpse sinking into the ground. There's G combined numbers. They'll get the kill. Now back off for a second Midas for Rabid. So IG going for the double Midas here, and no rush to try and close out the game.
They're playing farm mode. The mid game is where they stay away from the newbie aggression, go for probably double Midas with AA also getting a Midas this game, and just avoid fights. They're going to try and counterplay. Like if they see newbie go for a big commitment, they can look to TP in and fight it, and that's going to be the kind of big objective as they're concerned. Outside of that, Lua is going to keep trying to create.
God, Hal wants these Spiders. He wants them bad Sleight of Fist through. He's going to have Remnant away soon, though. He gets nearly all of them. Actually, Lua without his army, not nearly as scared. He's lost the Nebs has 1 more available. Gonna let it fly. Now out of mana, the charge comes in, though. They've got Dust on live. TPs to be used. Chains are there. Another strike back. They get the kill. Rabbit TPing, but way too late to engage, and he throws out a stun. He won't have mana for his ultimate. Rabbit's gonna have to sit back and watch his poor Spiderling have his legs ripped off.
Too aggressive coming out from Luo there. Quite respecting the Spirit charge, which you've seen catch him out a few times now.
Hal just sees Spiderlings, and for a lot of heroes, they're like, alright, I gotta run. He's like, great, I can farm now.
Yeah.
On this fella. Folks committing for 430. There's a double damager in top. He needs a bash here. Maybe not. The chain from Hal. The 2 hunters combine, and yet again a kill secured. Rubik, while that was happening, Chuan did manage to steal a level 2 surge.
And that was the kind of gank that you see coming from a mile away. He knew the charge was coming bottom lane. Spirit Breaker is just in there. I think even charged mid in plain sight, but just not respecting the Ember's catch potential. So Queen of Pain does end up going down there, just getting a bit too greedy going for the tier 1 tower.
Looks like it will be the Yules build. I'm actually curious. When is the last time a Shadow Fiend has built a Yules? Because I feel like I haven't seen this since, God, 6.83?
I mean, a few here and there, but it's like 1 in 20, 1 in 30 games where you see the Yules build nowadays. This used to be
This
the
is
build.
like your DAC era Shadow Fiend. And it was every game for a while. The Chinese teams had been building mech, and then they saw how well... I think it was when Sumail debuted.
Yes.
And then they all started building Yules, but then everyone stopped when it got nerfed.
Yeah.
But it's back. So it appears.
I think Sumail and Arteezy were very much like doing it every game, think it was the best build, and over time it was like, okay, maybe not every game requires it. Then it sort of became like a 50-50 thing between the Yules build and the like mech BKB build. And now we're seeing very much the focus on the more tanky build coming out from like the mech BKB, Skadi, etc.
IG are going to make a commitment here to the Roshan. But at that moment, Newbee on a raiding party, smoking, rotating through their own jungle. Looks like they want to find the Broodmother, perhaps. Protecting Hao, who's expecting to get ganked, but little do they know, IG, they've got something bigger planned, and it's already too late. Roche will fall the early medallion grab from Luo. The payment, they pinged it out. We won't have time to engage, and now Luo marches forward up onto the high ground, bringing the whole swarm with him. Fight. Not sure this is one Newbee want to take.
Yeah. Quickly realize that, well, IG, Luo at least, realizes running onto the high ground, maybe not the best idea for himself. One of the issues Newbee kind of have is they don't have the best hero to like pick up an early gem on. They could put on someone like Chizbug, but he's always diving in, getting very aggressive, and likely to lose it. They just don't have that hero who can carry the gem and not die, and who's also going to be able to gank the Brood. Like a Darkseer could probably hold the gem okay, but he's maybe spending more time farming, pushing out the lane, so they're going to be forced to just use Sentries and Dust for the time being, I imagine.
Probably Spiritbreaker once he gets a BK could do it.
Yeah.
That's a long ways off for Chizbug.
There's a lot more in the way of items here, and that's just giving IG time to just farm using their minuses. They've now got their second one online with Super during hit.
Oh,
so
that's actually the triple.
Oh wow, triple, yeah, with the Brood, that is 3 Midases.
Now the third Midas now complete as Super. Looks like they will be fully committing to the long game here. IG, triple Midas, all these heroes benefit from it quite a lot. Fairness to them.
It doesn't even feel too greedy because Brood is just so good at creating space and buying time for them, and all these heroes they're getting Midas on are pretty standard heroes who could benefit a lot from the extra farm in the case of the AA, and for heroes like Wraith King, desperately wants and needs the levels.
And frankly, they need the Midas to keep up with a Shadow Fiend, Darkseer, Ember. These are just 3 farm lords.
So we'll go into the late. I mean, this feels like a game that will go into the late game. Not a team really able to push and force the issue. We still see tier 1 towers up on the map. Not something that's going to change soon. The one team who could try and push their advantage would be Newbee. They're fighting into a 3 Midas lineup, but they have Aegis now on the dire side, and Newbee not the best at just 5-man sieging, taking towers. They're much more about these scrappy fights, trying to just brawl using the Iron Shell on the Ember Spirit, but IG they're playing keep away and so far being successful.
And IG now get their first big item for Rabbit. Grabs his Blink Dagger.
Yeah.
Crucial source of initiation for a team that heretofore has had very little.
This is possibly a good IG timing window. They've got the Blink Wraith King and Queen of Pain Orchid just complete, so they can actually use this to punish Hao in the bottom lane when he's getting too aggressive with his farm.
Looks like they may want to smoke on the back of this. 3 heroes congregating. Joining them will be 430. It's the 4-hero smoke around. Who do they find? Tule, believe he just showed himself mid, but IG waiting towards bottom, and as we all know, Hao never seen a fight he wants to back off from. See if this is one.
And more importantly, has he seen the Orchid yet?
Luo's getting closer. Spiderling's trailing after, and now the Orchid reveal. They're going to miss on the Queen of Pain Scream. Is that enough to allow Hao to get away? No, sir. Not with the crit from Rabbit. Quickly slapping him down. So they will grab the kill. Bought his Yasha right before dying, so he is not going straight battle free. It will be the Manta first.
So the Orchid, looking to just counter the Orchid, and knowing this is going to the late game, I guess for him it's like, okay, we're going late game, we're going to get a farming item like a Battle Fury, but they'll just keep on picking you off. You want to be able to farm in lanes by yourself and not be able to get caught. You can Manta dodge the Blink Sun Initiation from Wraith King, you can manage to get out of the Orchid, so it just allows Hao to be much greedier with his farm, and will actually be a better farming item than Battle Fury because of that.
They're going to see 430 here. Charge goes onto the Queen of Pain, who initiates. Does not have mana for the ultimate right now. 430 though, popping the stick. Now he's got it. Not sure if he even needs it. Tule's going to drop. Courier also hunted, and that was carrying the Guardian Greaves recipe for Tule. Pretty big snipe, and now Banana could be next. Has no grave, has a single heal. They're going to need some great raises from Moo. Pops the Aegis Cell. Round 2 comes now. No grave in sight, just single solitary heal. Won't be enough as Chizbug decides, this is my time to charge in, but suddenly he's on an island. That was ill-advised. He'll be 3rd man down. Newbee forced to tuck tail and run.
It's like it was kind of a silly charge, but that was him just throwing his body to save Moo on the Shadow Fiend. Moo doesn't have BKB, doesn't have Blink, didn't actually have an escape. If Queen of Pain blinked onto SF and had follow-up, it would have been a dead SF, so... Throws away his life to make sure SF gets out. It's hard to say whether they would have for sure killed him or not, so I think it was maybe just a safe play to make, but great sequence of events for IG, who get a couple more kills. Getting some decent map control, and I think IG is in a position where they can go for an early gem if they really want to try and starve out Newbee.
Haven't felt the presence of the Shadow Fiend this game. 10k net worth, has the Yules, yet to get a kill with it. Now completes the Sanjin Yasha.
Nope.
He is farming, that's for damn sure, but to really exert his influence on the map.
Yeah, it's been just the farm coming SS way, and Yules is a good farming item, which is where you often saw the old like OTs, Sumail, SS go for the item, because you find the pickups and you find fantastic with all the mana regen you get from the item.
Smoke from Newbee, they actually just being scouted those spider lanes.
I know the agent was
call, but they only find Luo. That's unfortunate. He's scrambling around. Looks like and Luo won't get scouted. He buys his BKB. He was up on the cliff near the Roach Pit, and now they move deeper. 430, maybe about to get caught. Newbee in position. Very close to getting caught by this Yule Scepter. And they break. Have it right in the nick of time. Oh, suddenly 4 heroes die. What's going on? But no follow-up whatsoever. Right, came not the target they were looking for. The Ice Blast is chucked in, and the smoke gank, the swing, and miss.
I think the rest of Newbee is just like, okay, you can charge him, but we're not following up when he's got reincarnation. That's a quick way to lose a team fight there if you're Newbee.
They charge on Spur, but already also too late. IG just demonstrating good warding, map control, and good game sense as they dodge gank after gank from Newbee.
Yeah, I think I just playing this pace of game. Like, you get a slight early game advantage, but have the heroes to keep on really fighting or splitting up too much, so they'll play the farm game, they'll wait for the next Roshan, try and maybe get a pick off here or there when possible, using the Quap Orchid especially. Although, and that's where Darks is actually forced to 5-man. He hasn't got his Greaves yet. Seth, still no BKB, Ember, still no Manta, so a lot of these heroes have to play very cautiously. 430, coming close to getting the kill at top Ember.
Jumps out just in the nick of time and is very near to the Manta, but man, having to go Manta first really slows down your farm progression as an Ember.
Yeah, it definitely. Oh, it's the worst farming item, but because you don't get ganked, he's gonna ultimately farm better with it than the Battle Fury.
Yeah, it's just great when you're not in an Orchid game and you can just skip it. No such luck for How, and with all the gank he needed early with mixed results, does not have the farm.
Got Vision of Lure here
to rush it, and now they get eyes on How. They're gonna jump in with Lure, but he's also being charged, as you mentioned. A gigantic Slate of Fizz comes out, slaughtering a lot of creeps on Nether Strike. Luo, no, actually hit a creep! Bug, that's not the target you were looking for. They're gonna engage with the Requiem onto Luo. BKB is worn off, and now they hunt and corral the spider. Will stomp him beneath their boot. Not the ideal fight, but Bug even gets the last hit, rewarded for mistakes.
Was a 10-second BKB from Luo used, and he dies there, so as far as Newbee concerned, they're probably looking at that like, oh, that's actually pretty damn nice. Like, we come out on top, we buy some time to career back, get our Guardian Greaves onto Tule. Steph still wants more farm. We talked about Ember Spirit, he's still not really in fighting shape with just a Manta style, so... Super
quick TP out, but is it quick enough? Doesn't look like it, How. Slicing him up, and that is pretty much the Manta style. In fact, a bit more farmed than I... Oh no, he just bought the Ultimate Orb as the courier was driving by. So, okay, 600 gold in the bank, and now they're gonna grab their first Midas. Newbee, they say, who can play at the farm game?
That's especially interesting on someone like a Spirit Breaker to get a 24-minute Midas. They're really looking at things as if, okay, we're not ending this game anytime soon. We're also not keeping up in farm on heroes that can benefit from having late game levels in farm like a Spirit Breaker. So yeah, they'll play IG's game and look to do it better to beat them.
If he wanted a Midas, he could have gotten it a lot quicker by just spending his reliable or his unreliable gold before he died.
Yeah. Even going for items like treads and whatnot did suggest that Newbee wanted to fight a lot. This was not the initial plan. If this was your initial plan to do IG's game of Midas Dota, you don't go for your treads, you don't upgrade your wand maybe. Getting like wand and urn and dust, treads, orb of venom, all these little items just means that Midas comes very late. So definitely a response to how well IG have done in the mid game, and
I think a lot of it just comes down to the Roche sneak. Newbie, they went for that big smoke, didn't find anyone. At that point, it's pretty tough to fight IG. Then we've seen a little bit more emphasis on the split push, but Ember Spirit getting aggressive. He is harder to kill with the Manta, but certainly not immortal. In fact, how engaging. He'll get caught by the lift. The Ice Blast comes through, needs to jump away, and will do so very far back. Be careful about those situations. They can chain stun him with a lift into a Wraith King stun into a cold feet. You get the Orchid off somewhere along the way, and possible they can burst him.
yeah, that's actually so telekinesis is 2.25, and the Wraith King stun is what, 2 seconds. So yeah, if they do it perfectly, the cold feet does land,
and it's a max cold feet, and it's 3.5 seconds. Like that's definitely enough to kill him. But all three have to be there.
Yeah, and you have to like not stack at all. But if you get that, that's how you kill the Ember. It's still like a lot needs to come together, and that's where it looks like we're headed towards a late game where IG don't have the best lockdown for an Ember, as well as a Shadow Fiend who's getting very farmed. SF now with SMY and BKB. It does, like, looking at the lineups themselves, Newbee, I would say, have the better late game lineup, and IG are gonna have to make up for that with just their item choices, having some extra lockdown from items like a Queen of Pain Hex, eventually getting a Wraith King with an Abyssal Blade plus Moonshard type build. They really need to itemize to counter Newbee's draft, because it's Newbee's draft who's just on paper going to be much better. Even looking at the supporting cards, you've got Nether Strike to go through BKB, Vacuum Wall, you've Puzzle Weave to negate a lot of the physical damage. And heroes like Brood, Quap just aren't going to be as scary in a late game setting.
The siege commences as Newbee group up, anticipating that next Roshan engagement. They want to go in here. They're going to chain Rabbit to start the fight. The Ice Blast comes through. It hits on 2, but there's not a follow-up. As 430 gets chain stun, completely locked down and eviscerated by Hal. One more slash of those rapiers to get the kill. And now Luo engages. No buyback at 430. They're still fighting without him. I think Luo may be expecting 430 can rejoin the fight, but he cannot. Ember jumps forward. There's the Sleight of Fist limping away on 8 HP. Won't make it out, and Chizbug rushes in deeper, looking for more. The Wraith King can't hold the line. It's just His Majesty versus the world as Moo cleans house. 4 heroes down. Earth King ult expended, and about to be 5. Meet the Reaper Rabbit. It's a full wipe. Newbee slaughtering all in their wake. They will take the tower. They may take the Roche. Or perhaps they even go for Rex. These heroes dead for 25 seconds.
Oh, and that's just the power of the Newbee team fight there in the late game. They didn't even hit amazing ultimates by any means. Like, the Darkseid just used a wall and a BKB Brood to help bring him down, and that was all they needed. Newbee just... They're so
MVP ward here. That ward found the Quap.
And that was the biggest part. It was very much positioning and the vision advantage that Newbee had. The ward allowing them to kill Quap. Quap is not to die that way. Before you cast BKB and get no spells off. Brood was coming in, flanking from behind, saying, look, I'll take out the Dazzle, you kind of deal with the rest in some ways, and we'll take this fight. But Newbee just had the vision they needed.
They want to contest the Roche. It seems it may be just a bit too late. Queen of Pain jumps forward, tries to at least steal the last hit, rather, with their ultimate, but effort from 430 won't be good enough, and then they grieve, they weave, they get back to full HP.
That's a Sonic Wave on cooldown. If you're a Newbee, you may look to push. There's no Ags.
It's actually not an Ags ult. That's a good point.
That was that was definitely not a good ultimate coming out from 430. I think that's a 2-minute window where Newbee likely... Often you see the Aegis picked up and then teams wait about 3 minutes before they try and push because they want to get their next couple of items up, they want to just reset, heal up, and just make sure they're all prepared.
It almost feels like maybe 430 is just used to playing with the Ags, because that's definitely a play you make with the Ags, but without it.
That was a bit of a tilt play. Like, you lose a bad fight and then you make a move like that. You feel desperate, even though for IG they're playing for the late game. They've got the Triple Midas. Yeah, their late game maybe isn't as good, but as kind of mentioned, they can get items to compensate for that. So now instead of just losing the one fight in Roche, they lose another tier 2 tower. Newbee fall back. It does look like they're not going to go for the high ground push. They're going to just farm the top lane and probably buy a gem fairly soon to get some map control. But this is still a much worse position for IG to be in as a result of that Sonic Wave.
Luo grabbing a Diffusal Blade on Broodmother. There's no... What's this for? That's just a surge?
Yules? You can purge off the Yules from on Moo with the SF, I guess.
But he has BKB now.
Yeah, he also has BKB, so what BKB Requiem
I
cannot
guess
be
it's
stopped.
just for the Darkseer, right? Is there? And
Darkseer.
does it remove Flame Guard? I know Yule's does. I'm not sure about Diffusal Blade.
I should remove Flame Guard.
Even if it does, is that really the item here? Huh. Very curious why he's picking.
I'm definitely surprised by it. It's really good on Agi heroes as far as damage goes because it's a lot of agility. Even the level 2 Diffusal gets it up to 35 agility, so it is one of the better heroes to get on Agi carries. And maybe anticipating some Ghost Scepters at some point. Dazzle will be going Glimmer Cape though, so...
Definitely an unusual item pickup. We'll have to reserve judgment until we see how it works out. But worth noting that this is not a common build for... well, really any Broodmother player, to be honest.
I guess you can
unless
help
there's
out.
an Omni Knight.
Yeah, you can look to save 430 by purging off stuff like, what, Searing Chains from him. If he's got BKB now, it's from BKB out, so it's not... does not seem like an obvious item to pick up. And hey, Darkseer makes a replicate of you. Now you've got a Brood Illusion with Diffusal on your Wraith King, and there goes his mana. I don't know.
Oh,
that's like
no.
worst case scenario
Is
with
this
the
is
Diffusal.
this the secret Luo 322?
Yeah.
Sabotaging IG right before the Major en route to leaving the team in shambles.
You newbie guys, you want some mana burn? I'll
Luo's
help you out.
ultimate revenge. Gods, it's happening.
So, we'll see. I want to reserve judgment on it. It's one of those things where it could just be a nice item because of the agi you get from it. Although, if you're looking at it like a agi kind of DPS item, you'd normally go for a butterfly.
It is a little bit cheaper, and maybe feels like he needs every possible scrap of damage for right now.
Yeah, and the important thing you can always do is just purge off dust and stuff as well, which there's no gem yet on the Radiant side. So.
Speaking of the Radiant side, I was going to mention the BKB for Chizbuk is very close, and now he's already bought the Other Club, has the Mythor Hammer, 900 away from the recipe.
And that's where you buy
They
the gem,
have
I
no
guess.
counterplay to a BKB charge.
Nope.
There's actually no save here for IG.
Nope. So launching in. I guess you can try BKB defensively. You still get Netherstruck, but it means you don't die to the Magic Burst that could follow it up.
Yeah, and all the bashes are magic damage as well, so
Yep.
a lot of your HP down the drain, but still, in the meanwhile, Hao is getting his farm, and he's not even close to the most farm. He's worked up to a Battle Fury, and perhaps more importantly, Moo God, M God.
Skyrocketed.
He's at 18.5k, 312 CS. This is reminiscent of the Newbee or Tonk Fu of Old Gods, the Twin Towers, Moo and Hao, putting the team on their back. No, I wouldn't say that they have entirely this game, but they definitely could moving forward.
No, Zhao 8 talked about how he wouldn't be rejoining LGD, but he didn't rule rejoining Newbee out of the picture. I feel like if Zhao 8 joined this Newbee team again, they would potentially just be unstoppable. Like
Who would you replace? Chizbug?
Either Chizbug or Tule would be the obvious option, I guess. I think Tule's actually, he started off a bit shaky on the team early on, but he's been playing a lot better. It kind of reminds me a bit of Misery with when he first joined Secret, where you join a new team, you're also kind of, I guess Tule's been playing offlane for a bit now, but you're on a roll that, playing offlane on a team where you're not sure exactly what kind of playstyle they're doing, or you're just new and adjusting to a new playstyle can be difficult, so... I mean, Chizbug has been playing so well, though, like, not just looking at this game, but in general. It'd be hard to say who he replaces, but... whoever adding Zhao 8 to your team is an upgrade, regardless of who he replaces. I don't want to take anything away from these other players, but it's Zhao 8.
Get rid of Hao. Put Zhao 8 in a carry. Upgrade. Easy.
Maybe not.
After
maybe
the Spectre game, after that Spectre game at TI5, maybe it would be. Though they did go on to win, thanks. Sensational FY Rubik.
Maybe Banana's one you replace. He's definitely been a bit more flat on the support role. Like, as much as he's got the veteran experience.
Wasn't he going to retire? I remember someone told me Sunshine and Banana said they were both planning to retire after TI5.
Yeah, I remember hearing that too, but
he's
I guess
getting...
no one really retires with Dota.
He's tasted the sweet nectar of championship, you know?
The thing Chizbug bring on the team is what Winter talked about, where it's a player who's been on the bench for a while. He was like the IG sub, kind of. And he's probably like so driven just to like win games, especially against IG, the team who had him benched. Like, he hasn't been playing competitive Dota for such a long time, and he probably just has that drive. Like, I want to be at the top again. Like, basically go back to his glory days when he was like one of the best support players in the world. So,
for those who don't remember, he was on the IG bench, and the only time he would play was in WCG, which had a rule that you had to have players who were from China, and Chuan was on the team. And of course, Chuan is a Malaysian citizen, though he plays in China. So that was when Chizbug would come out of the closet and try to show what he could do, dust off old skills. Do atrophy when you're not actively playing for that long.
Top tower is under attack.
We'll see how this Newbee team goes from here. It's going to be really great to see them at a big LAN in the near future. And we're looking at like the Frankfurt Major and
we're going to see all of the big Chinese teams as well at Nanyang coming up very soon.
No
so
Newbee, unfortunately.
No Newbee, I guess, but pretty much everybody. Not to say you're not a big team, Newbee is like going to take their wrath out on the Wraith King. The ultimate comes out once. It is the level 3 ult, fortunately, as he goes to work on Banana, but the heal will finish him off. Physical damage there. May need to grave to protect himself, and meanwhile, quick reactions from Juan.
Moo's just unstoppable. He picked up a Sky. Now he's got 2.6k plus HP. Age is still for another minute. Time to...
And this is high ground. They've got the Wraith King down. They can force out the buyback. They're in position for the jump forward. Hal going deep. He does not find the change, though. Now he's going to have to Manta. Looks to back away. The BKB comes from Luo, and Hal just casually skirts back. Even with that Diffusal Blade, yet to use a charge in this fight, and he may die to the Requiem damage. No, ends up going down afterwards.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
They've got to get the hell out. That was a bit cocky. It might be punished. Blink forward. Moo trying to fight Rabbit, but the ult's up again. They can fight into this perhaps. Ice Blast Coin out in 10 seconds time. 4:30 arrives. No ultimate available though. Already committed round 2 for the Wraith King, and maybe it's Newbee who evaded an IG in the end. They'll pummel Rabbit, drive him back. They want 4:30 next. Vroom vroom. Back to the well if they can lock him down. The chains were cooling down, however, so he does get away. At least for now. Sleight of Fist attempted. No chains to follow it up. Newbee, despite lacking their precious arcs here, continue the onslaught.
That was discipline from Hal. He could have gone for another Fire Remnant forward there if he really wanted to, but didn't have the Manta up, didn't have a Fire Remnant to escape with.
Chuan with the quick zap. By the way, he did steal Requiem of Souls. Haven't seen him opportunity using it, but now he finds it. Turns on Moo. He'll pop him and explode in a cloud of souls. Played and even managed to steal a regular raise there right before going down. So they get 2 of the big cores. Most importantly, they get the Shadow Fiend, and they hold the base.
Chuan
Newbee getting too big for their britches.
Yeah, Chuan with that Requiem steal just pushes back the Newbee push. You don't kill the SF without that telekinesis Requiem, and IG would have likely lost Easter range racks, maybe melee racks instead if they'd focus it down. Still a very costly hold, and I feel even though IG hold, Newbee are the ones in the driver's seat. It was a net worth gain for Newbee, I'm sure, with what, triple buyback being
double buyback. Okay. Yeah, the Wraith King as well as the Brood.
And that's a Wraith King buyback is a really big deal. He's the hero you need to see item progression on. The Brood as well, with the new fighting style, the Brood, it benefits a lot from items, and right now Luo is feeling very underfarmed when he's fighting the Shadow Fiend, even fighting the Ember Spirit. I feel like that was an adequate from IG.
And now Chizbug BKB picked up. Juan's gonna start looking to swag as he will complete an Aghanim Scepter. So as far as big Ags ults, technically the Spirit Breaker ult, but more importantly I guess your Dazzle ult if you can grab it, and the Darkseer wall. Yeah. Be the main one. Sadly, no Shadow Fiend Ags.
And there just doesn't seem to be like a lot of spells being spammed up by Newbee. Often you see this like Ags, Rubik, it's like the ultimate is always great, but on top of that you want to have just stuff like Fissures, Light Strike, lots of spells being thrown, and that doesn't feel like what Newbee are going to be doing in a fight as much. The Ember, like stealing Ember spells aren't going to do a whole lot as a Rubik. Dazzle.
Oh, come on, you don't believe in Sean with his karate sleight of fist.
He could slide a fist, but there's no steering chains to go with it.
It's like sleight of twig.
Yep.
There's no fist with a Rubik. Got puny little paws. Big staff, but nothing to smack with.
And it looks like Newbee even going for another high ground attempt here at top.
They dove pretty far. Like definitely they could have slow sieged that, just taken the racks for free, but wanted some swag and some kills along the way.
430 has got buyback for this fight. He may be the one who has to kind of sacrifice his life for the hold if Newbee go for a high ground push. Although Newbee at the same time, no Roche is coming up in the next 3 minutes, so maybe a bit of a reckless time to go for any kind of a high ground play. Quite a long Roche respawn though, 2.5 minutes.
430 trying his best to slow down this push that may be coming as Moo closes on his next stun. Now the Ember and the Shadow, the two most farmed heroes in the game, start to draw some circles around the Roche pit, and in fact it is around that time when the Roche could have respawned, so see Moo march towards the pit, debating if he wants his next item, and he's gonna hang on gold, but this does get super time, gods, and he at long last will get the Aghanim Scepter on the Ancient Apparition. Could be the item, just maybe, that turns this game around.
Yep. It's, I guess, a nice little upgrade, but it doesn't feel like a game where it's going to have like a massive impact as far as their ability to hold onto the high ground. With Moo, it's less about having like a long Ice Blast duration, but more about needing more damage to chop through all his 3k HP.
No, he's got evasion on. They've just smoked. They run up the hill, Sleight of Fist comes through, super TPing out. Looks like he will dodge the bullet.
Oh,
that was a close call there.
6 spot to be in. Scouts the entire smoke play and gets down a nice aggressive ward, which has not been scouted just yet. There's a sentry on top of it, but they haven't got the high ground vision.
Surprisingly, no gem on Newbee either.
Yeah.
38 minutes in. Did they have one that they... Oh, hold that thought. Rabbit smoked, and he's ready to engage. To leap forward. That Ward about to get them vision, but Moo quick on the BKB draw now. Getting thrown up in the air. It tries to hang on through the Ice Blast. Needs to get that Requiem off. Will do so in the entire enemy squad. Now the Sleight of Fist coming through Luo. BKB quickly wearing off, though. Hal gets stunned. Trapped. Focus. Manta looks to run. Remnants here and there. Stays alive and looks to turn. Now Banana with the TP out. They're going to slow down Rabbit. He still gets off the stun. The burn damage will take him down, but the Wraith King on already expended. He will die a second time. And that is a real death. Moo standing strong and the hero that nobody can deal with. The Shadow View of the BKB Requiem. It's too much in the fights.
Yeah, and he kind of held on to the BKB long enough to hit the Brood as well. Like, waited for the Brood to BKB, then Requiem, so Brood's damage output gets dealt with partially through minus physical damage. And well, this is going to be a tough Roche contest for IG if Newbee want to make a play for it. It looks like they may want to wait out some of their ultimates. They've still got no Requiem, no Wall, and Dazzle on the sidelines. But with Gem online, they will control the map for now.
Relay, I believe, just picked that up.
Yeah, I think
courtesy of Chizbug.
Yeah, I think I saw the pickup right before that fight broke out, just coming on the courier.
Now Hal is going to transition into a Blink Dagger, something we saw a lot of from maybe at TI5, but as of late, most members have been opting to blink and just go straight into damage, so it's interesting to see the slight variations in the way these players like to itemize their embers. And, well, speaking of which, jumps onto two heroes. Hal, balls of steel, and gonna pay for it! Schwan styles all over him with the stolen Requiem. He's like, what is wrong with you, buddy?
Yep.
Get the hell off of me. Space created gods. They got the Aegis.
Yeah, I was just about to talk, like, okay, Blink allows you to make plays like that happen, except when Schwan's in the game, because the idea is you have the Blink to engage, and you already have the Fire Remnant really far away. Because if you Fire Remnant engage, you've got no escape. Or you have to your Fire Remnant to escape is really close by. So right now, Ember, like, I guess he hadn't. Maybe his team hadn't reported that Chuan stole the ultimate, because that must have been just like some missing info that Hao didn't have, because otherwise that play is perfectly fine. You get a kill, you get out. That's what the Blink Dagger is for, is finding those kind of pickoffs. But he gets punished. That
presence of mind from Chuan just left into an instant Requiem. You cannot deny Chuan's individual skill. His track record as a member of teams has not been the best over the past year or so, but his individual play, he has those insane individual moments.
Chuan has kept IG in this game. First the Requiem at top killing the SF, now that Requiem there. If not for these Rubik plays. And I looked at the Axe and I was like, it's like an okay Axe game for Rubik. But it's not been about sealing lots of spells, it's all about being sealing just the Requiem.
They're going to charge bottom. 430, one more wave. AP is downfall, and he does stick around for that extra wave. Has the BKB, gets bashed, and now another strike back, and that one extra bash, all that's required to get the kill.
Cruel.
Meanwhile, Moo has a butterfly. Sure, Hao's getting a little sloppy here down the stretch, but at the same time, Moo has been basically perfect on the Shadow Fiend, aside from... I wouldn't even call it a mistake when he died to the Rubik. That was just a crazy fight.
Yeah.
Fun threatening.
Finding them.
Hey, I got some plays available.
He's going again.
Bam! His health. But BKBs, he's still got an Aegis. Yeah, Tron, that was cute. Let me show you what Big Daddy Shadow Fiend's all about. This is how a Requiem looks, although he may lose his first life here. Blue getting focused, but will be Grave kept alive. Blue is beginning to wear up and tucked down as soon as it will end. Finished off in the end by Hao. Gets the cleanup kills, 2 to be exact. Meanwhile, diving towards Rabbit, 4 heroes dead. It's about to be 5, and it will be game. Newbee, too strong, too fat. IG tried to play the farm game, but Newbee just did.
Yeah, Chuan didn't have long left on the Requiem, so he just went for it as early as possible. And knowing SF has no Satanic, he's not going to be able to heal up the damage, but the rest of IG just been crippled too much. It was the top defense where they had to chew through buybacks on the Brood as well as Wraith King. Nobody's kept up in farm with Moo, and it's very much just too fat to fail at this point as far as the Newbee carries go, despite some great individual plays coming out from Chuan.
Really like the way Newbee won this game, the adjustments they made early. I thought they did a good job of using the Darkseer's jungle potential. He had a level 5.5 at like sub 5 minutes, while also helping the bottom lane. Spiritbreaker didn't feed against the tri-lane. They warded well to see spot Chuan's rotations. Ember did extremely well in the laning stage for Hao against the Broodmother, and then from there, a back and forth mid game. IG had that big Roche sneak, but I felt like the laning stage was the key for Newbee. They did not let Brood get totally out of hand. No,
Brood didn't snowball this game. IG went kind of greedy with the triple minus, although it seemed to be working okay when they secured Roche and all that. But, at no point did it really feel like they had an answer to Shadow Fiend in this game, as well as Ember Spirit. They didn't have that extra bit of lockdown which they needed, and I think if they got to a late game scenario where Queen of Pain had a Hex, Wraith King has the Abyssal Blade plus Moonshard type build, then IG had a chance, but Newbee just hit their stride at the right time. That second Roshan, then they put the pressure on, and IG's just like, we don't have time to farm these late game items.
I just can't believe it. Here got through to 5th pick either. Yeah, especially when you're running Brood and there's an Ember on the enemy team. That to me was just crazy.
Yeah, Too Late played well. I mean, everyone on the Newbee side had a really solid game, I'd say, all in all, and worked out well. Game 1 goes their way. It seems they've still got IG's number, continuing their streak from the Frankfurt Majors.
All right.